Hello and welcome to Valeriecation Yoga. My name is Valerie. Today is our yoga teacher session. So I wanted to discuss a little bit about doubt as a yoga teacher. Every yoga teacher, every professional at some point in their life comes to a point where they doubt their abilities to do their job or to proceed in their job, or to excel at something they really want to do, or to get that training that they need to move them forward. So I wanted to pop in and talk about how doubt can affect us as yoga teachers and what we can do about it. So brand new teachers oftentimes are living a lot more in doubt than seasoned teachers. New teachers are finding their footing, they're learning what works, what doesn't work. Some of those have consequences that feel embarrassing or feel obvious. Even if they're not obvious to our students, they're obvious to us. We're changing and cultivating and things like that. But that does not mean that seasoned teachers don't experience times of doubt, right? You might be trying a different method. You may have just learned something or trying to apply that knowledge to your students. Or it just might be one of those days where you come in, you're like, I don't really know if what I'm doing is working and effective for my students. What am I going to be doing? It could just be a bad mood day too, where we do not feel as focused to the work or aren't quite as sure how it's landing with students. It could also be something that a student has said to you, maybe some feedback that you didn't want to ruffle feathers, but then realized you kind of took to heart. Those types of things can create this sense of doubt in our minds as teachers. And sometimes that doubt can affect how we teach or how we decide to pursue teaching, or even if we decide to continue to teach at all. So this is a topic that has come up for me, has come up for all sorts of teachers that I know that begin to doubt whether or not they think that they can do this job as a whole or parts of the job as is being offered. So one of the things I like to do when I'm starting to feel this sense of doubt, like, am I doing the right thing? Have I made the right choices to be a yoga teacher? Sometimes it's, am I making the right choice of how I'm working with my students or who I'm working with? Well, think of these moments as being those tips, those turns. You know, I studied Renaissance literature in college, and you always have the third act, which is where there's that change that happens, a change in your character that maybe better or for worse, that dictates the rest of the last two acts, right? The fourth and fifth act are just not going to be the same after that critical point of Act 3. So sometimes those moments of doubt are those critical points where maybe something isn't working for you in your teaching practice. Maybe you're teaching too much, you're not teaching at the right times that work for you, or something isn't resonating with you in a way that it could and that you hope it to resonate. So all of those things can apply. Absolutely every single one of those could apply. So we think of this as that critical point when you can decide how you want things to move forward. So if you determine, and I always suggest journaling or just kind of writing things out. If you like to draw, maybe you're drawing some things out, of just trying to kind of figure out where this is coming from. Like, where is this doubt coming from? It could be coming from a place of vulnerability, in which case you'll start working there. But if it's more of like, you know, those 7:30 a.m. classes were great when I was first starting as a teacher because that's what I could get. But now I don't want to do that. I want to do something else. Or for me, most recently, those vinyasa classes I've been teaching all along, they were really wonderful to get my feet in the door, my foot in the door. But I need to do something different with my teaching because that resonates most with me, right? So things like that change. Know that our work will change. All work changes, all directions and work change. So this work will change too. So that place where we might feel doubt could be that opportunity to make that critical change in how we approach and how we do things. I've talked about authenticity before, and authenticity really eradicates doubt. So if you're looking at something to kind of vacuum clean doubt, go back into why you're teaching. What is my authentic voice? Thinking of this too is like, no one is you. No one is you. You're one in billions. There's no one exactly like you with your experiences. So if it's, say, another teacher or a student that creates that moment of doubt for you, or maybe they don't create it for you, maybe they plant the seed and you've created it for yourself, you've watered it, you're giving it food, like all this stuff, right? Like, this is a point where you say, you know what? No one is me. No one has ever been me. No one will ever be me. And all of those things I can offer to my class and I can offer to my students. And that can oftentimes just vacuum clean up doubt. Just be like, oh, yeah, no, I'm good. I know what I'm doing. Like, I have this sense of trust in myself. So what happens if you don't have trust in yourself? Again, I would absolutely 100% suggest a couple of things. Writing things down has always helped me, but I'm someone who likes to write things down. If you're someone who likes to sit and think and contemplate, that's your process. If you like to draw things out, that's your process. Some people like to take a walk in nature and get a better perspective as to what's going on in their life that may have created this sense of doubt, vulnerability, whatever it might be. Others, and this is the second one I like to do as well, will meditate. And I really think that if you can take time every single day to meditate, a lot of these things don't come up to begin with, right? So I generally have 7 minutes of time and attention to be able to sit and meditate in a day. That's it. I tried to do like a 7-minute meditation in the morning and at night. It wasn't working out at night for me. It's nights like getting my little one to sleep, and like there's a lot of rushing around and getting things ready for the next day. So it just wasn't fitting it in. I just go to bed. So the idea of being able to carve out whatever that time is for you, 5, 7, 15, 20 minutes, whatever it is that works for you and makes you feel like you are able to create that focus and attention to move forward, that's exactly what you need to do, right? Sit for a moment. Let the thoughts slowly start to clear out, because no doubt will come in when you sit down in your session, you sit with yourself, especially if that's a recurring theme for you as you do your work. And just sit there and just kind of let things flush itself out without reacting, without having to do anything about it. Just let it be. And I find when we let these things flush out, when we let these things be, and it might take a few meditation sessions, may take a few weeks to get that to go, the voice starts to be a lot less and a lot lighter. And there's other voices that come in that are more nourishing to us that become a little bit louder. So thinking about that. So my suggestion for you, if doubt comes up, know that this is normal, a common occurrence with everybody and all teachers, even if they won't admit it. And you can meditate, you can journal, you can take a moment of yourself in nature, you can sit and drink a cup of tea and maybe contemplate what this is for you, doing something about it just for a moment. Maybe it's a moment every day, maybe it's one time that you set yourself up to do that, and see what happens from there. Know that this is temporary, just as a lot of things are, and things will pass, and you will feel better and more confident in no time. And if part of doubt is making changes in how you teach, or when you teach, or how you teach, or where you teach, this can also be really great information for you. I hope that you learned something today, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you so much.